Hello everyone. So today what I wanted to share with you is two things. One, I wanted to share this beautiful sacred space with you. This is where I come. This is about a mile away from my home. And I walk here every day that I can. And I just love to come. And this is a great place to connect with nature, to really clear yourself, to really get into nature is the best way to connect with nature. And, right now, nature isn't very awake or alive, but it's becoming alive. It's becoming awake. And this is a great place to come and sit and have the fairies, the angels, whoever, talk to you, be with you. And the other thing I wanted to share for today is shadow work. Now, shadow work is not something scary and not something I intend to scare anyone with. And if you don't think you have shadow work, then you have not delved deep enough into yourself to realize that everyone has a shadow. Everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, you have a shadow. And for this video, I want to talk a little bit about two of my shadows that I have and the experience that I went through to kind of deal with those shadows. And in dealing with those shadows, I actually dealt with even more shadows. I found more within myself. So the first thing I want to talk about is I have had a fear of being alone. And not so much in the sense of not having a partner, but not having anyone to talk to, because as a young child, I did not have a lot of friends. I always saw myself on the outside looking in. I would be, I guess you could say, part of a group, but not really integrating myself into that group. I'd always be on the outside looking in. And I recently came across an experience where that shadow aspect of myself came up. And that shadow aspect came up in the form of a very good friend of mine at work. And because at work is where I feel most safe. At work, other than my own home, but at work I feel safe. I feel like I can be the same person that I am at home, I can be at work. And what happened was a friend of mine and another coworker were basically having pity party. Now, my psychic mentor and psychic role model, Sonia Choquette, always says if people are being negative and you can't change it, then walk away. Well, I walked away and there was nothing else I could really do about it. And what happened was their energy actually impacted me. I was not far enough away and I started to actually feel pitiful for myself. And I had gone over and, I told them, I said, you don't have anything to be pitiful about. I said, you've always had friends. You've always had people around you. I said, I've not been so fortunate. A very good friend of mine is having a party and I'm not invited. I said, how do you think that makes me feel? And just going into that whole downward pity spiral. And what it really took was for me I actually had to call another friend because I was extremely upset. I was really in my ego, and I had to call this other friend of mine and be like, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. I'm just really upset. And we kind of talked about it, and the more we talked about it, the more I saw that this was a shadow. This was me being possessive of another person, because since I didn't have a lot of friends, I become very possessive of people that I call friends. Extremely possessive. And that is one of my shadows, is to not be so possessive of people. I'm not really possessive of objects. I'm possessive of people in my life that I hold very close and dear to me. And so I had to do a meditation on that. And that's how I dealt with it. That's how I had to do it, because I could not consciously deal with it. I couldn't. And so in doing that meditation and letting people go and not holding on to them, not letting their energetic cord really hold me, and cutting those old cords, you don't even realize how many cords you have until you kind of do a cord cutting meditation. And not only cutting the cord, but also kind of taking out that hook and really detaching from all those old things that don't serve you. I mean, I was holding on to an old relationship of mine that I had in high school. I was still holding on to it. And I didn't even realize. I thought it was done and buried. And, I really had to, those cords are in deep. And, it does take some time to really get them out. And yes, I came to the realization of that, and I dealt with it. And the trigger really was them kind of stonewalling me out of the conversation they were in. And it wasn't so much that they weren't talking to me, it was just I couldn't put my input in. And I felt isolated. And so that was one of the triggers that I had. And triggers are going to come in any way, shape, or form. And the universe is just telling you, hey, it's time to deal with this. It's time to start doing your work. And that's how you know you're really growing, is when you start seeing these shadows, and instead of, saying, oh no, I'm so scared of these shadows, I don't know what to do, you actually say, okay, how can I turn this into a positive? How can I deal with this? How can I integrate it? Because in my general opinion, we're not getting rid of the shadow, we're integrating all of it into ourselves. So that was the first shadow. The second shadow was me comparing myself to others. And I think we all do this. I think this is all something we all do. We compare ourselves. And so when I compared myself to another person, what happened was, it was someone on YouTube, and she's actually a very good friend of mine. Her name is Empress. So I do suggest that you check out her channel, because she is very insightful. But I had seen her video, and I scrolled down to say, great job, so proud of you for still making videos. And there I saw that she had 105 views, or she had 105 subscribers. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, she has more than me. She's doing more work than me. She's better than me. Why is she better than me? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? And the real thing that it was not so much how many views she had. In my perception, what it looked like was she was better than me. And, immediately I went into an ego mode where I was like, well, she has more subscribers because she's pretty, because she's a girl. And, then I started thinking, well, maybe my information isn't as good as hers. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe that's something that, I just deluded myself into thinking. And, thank goodness the universe got me out of the house, because I had to go pick my mom up at her job. And I got in the car and I started driving, and I was like, angels and spirit guides, I need you to come into the car, and, we need to talk about this. And I remembered that I went, and I was about a mile down the road, and I was just still talking to my guides and myself, and just being like, oh my gosh, so terrible, why does she have more people than me? Why is she more popular than me? What do I need to do? Is my information not good enough? And all of a sudden, there was a car in the middle of the road, and it was dead, and it couldn't move, and it was right in my way, so I had to reverse and go back. And I take that as a conversation with the universe, of the universe saying, hey, hold up, stop what you're doing. And as I was kind of going back out to go the other way, I thought, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You don't need to be doing this. This isn't serving you. It's not serving anyone. It's your ego. You should be happy for Empress. You should be excited for her. You should be joyful. You should be ecstatic, or at least grateful for the information and the hope that she has given to you. And I wasn't. I was in a complete ego state where I was just completely downward spiral into self-pity. And as I came to this realization, all these different emotions kind of flooded up, of inadequacy, of not being on the right path, not knowing what I'm doing. And as those all came up, I felt this gentle wave of compassion and warmth sweep over me, kind of sweeping it all away. And this beautiful thought came into my head. It's not how many people you touch, it's how you touch them. So I don't need to compare myself to Empress. I don't need to compare myself to anyone. What I need to do is I need to look inside myself and become confident in myself. And that's what it is. That's what the real shadow work is being confident in my own abilities, having self-confidence, having self-worth, and not saying, well, this person is better than me, so I should probably stop. It's not what it's about. The shadow work for me is about having that self-confidence to be happy for her, be happy for myself, and say, I'm going to continue to grow, and I'm so proud and happy of her growth. And so that's what my two shadow work things were. Now, they're not pretty. They're not super fun to go through, but once you get through them, it's amazing how you feel. It really is. I actually feel like I have more energy. I'm not holding on to those old things anymore, that old relationship, that old feeling. I let them all go. I integrated them into myself and I said, okay, it's time to have confidence. It's time to be confident in what you do. And so that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm practicing to do. And so I encourage all of you to, if you come against your shadow work, instead of hiding from it or denying it, really embrace it. Really do something with it and integrate it into yourself. So that way you could become a more whole person, a better person than what you are now. So sorry this was kind of long, but I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to speaking to all of you soon. Bye. Oh, you know what? I'll give you one last little view here of this beautiful forest. All right, bye-bye.